Hi, my name is Emily Morey, and I was wondering if anyone has ever traveled outside of the US, or at least traveled in some capacity. As a member of the LGBTQ community and a woman, I feel very close to this subject that I'll be discussing with everyone today, and which is I would like to inform everyone about the dangers of women and LGBT community members traveling outside of the US. Unfortunately, some of these are violence against these communities and extreme laws in countries that aren't as accepting as the US for these communities. Violence is something that we've all experienced, we all know about, we've all heard stories about, but human trafficking is one of those big things abroad that is hard to control and a really huge problem. 71% of sex trafficking are female. This includes females, males, and children, but 71% of those are female. And in 2017, Human Trafficking by the Numbers by Human Rights First found 74% of sex violence were outside of the U.S., their country of origin. So that means 74% were travelers traveling to a different country that they don't call their home. This number should be startling and should be an awakening call for you to not only learn your surroundings, be more careful, but really understand how dangerous it is to travel to other countries that aren't familiar to you. In countries that you don't know of, women and LGBTQ members have a target on their back, mostly because they're seen as weak or not accepted in that community. It's easy to be picked up and taken, especially if you're a solo traveler. You don't have anyone with you to report back to, and people see that and take advantage. In a 2019 article by the New York Times, Adventurous, Alone, and Attacked, it discusses a woman traveling to Costa Rica and never coming home, by Megan Specta and Toro Merau. Her brutalized body was found in a forest, half buried, next to her Airbnb. The Costa Rican police arrested the security guard. This article should be awakening call, not only was an awakening call, not only for me, but for everyone, to realize that you can't trust anybody, especially while traveling in a different area that you are unaware of and don't know people. Security is someone you should be able to trust, and unfortunately this woman put her trust in a security guard and lost everything. And fortunately, some laws are put in place to protect us, and others kind of push us down, not recognizably. Women don't necessarily have all of their rights in every other country. The U.S. is so fortunate to be able to do this. But while traveling, you should learn the laws against women, for women, for their protection, their dress codes. Really, you should be traveling. The U.S. Department of State has a wonderful website specific to LGBT, disabled, and women while traveling. Saudi Arabia just dropped their dress code policy last year, but while dropping that, they have now added 19 more modesty policies for public outings for travelers. While going to a country, you should always learn to respect and know their culture, because if you don't, it's another target on your back. It's another reason for people to be able to spot you, point you out as a tourist, and commit acts of violence against you. The LGBT community members, the laws against them in other countries is astronomical. According to the U.S. Department of State in 2019, 70 countries still illegalized all same-sex relations. And many countries, female same-sex relations are legal, but same-sex for male is illegal. While traveling, because I am part of this and many others are part of this community, we really need to be informed of where we can go and where we are accepted. In Sudan, you can receive up to a life sentence for same-sex relations. And just 2 years ago, they finally dropped their death sentence policy for same-sex relations. So while this is a step up, it is still a step down. You really should be informed of religious practices commonly held throughout a country. As I said, in like Saudi Arabia, their headdresses and other things like that, you should really dress modestly, not only because it is a law, but out of respect for others and so you don't stick out. In France, they recently implemented a no face covering law where you are no longer allowed to wear those. So for members of communities like the Islamic cultures, they can no longer wear these headdresses in France. So no matter your religion, you should always be prepared for where you're going to. Luckily in the US, we don't have to worry about so many of these things, and we are so fortunate. In reviewing these dangers for women and LGBT community members, the violence and the extreme laws, I hope everyone is now more informed and can take this and inform others about all of these things and are more prepared for their future outings. Thank you.